is toxic independence promoting a loneliness crisis at this time? My answer would be yes, especially among young black women all over the world. What's happening is there was a push some decades ago for women to start working. And there was also a simultaneous situation where, especially among the African American men, a lot more of them were being pushed into the penal institutions. So technically there's a shortage of good men. And so, and I'm generalizing here, there are no absolutes in this conversation. So what we have is a situation where there is a bit of a shortage of good men, in their words, and a proliferation of men that are not necessarily stepping up to the plate because the women have taken on a greater burden in terms of raising children and providing in the home. Now, because what has happened is that there are very many cases of men that are tagging on to households and being carried by women, there's a whole thrust among women to say, listen, let's not even bother to have a man. We'll do it all on our own. I'll do bad all by myself, as it were. And so what we're seeing is a situation where women are saying, listen, I can pay my bills. I can take care of my car note. I can raise my children myself. I don't need you. And so they're just looking at it from a material and financial perspective, not understanding that the man and the woman are supposed to be together. They're supposed to balance each other and counterbalance each other. So it's more than just finance and material. The feminine principle requires a masculine principle to balance things out. A child requires both the masculine and the feminine principle to raise that child correctly. When you have a single mother or a single father household, there is bound to be an emotional imbalance in the child. Have you ever noticed when the mother is shouting at the child and the child is not listening? The minute the father steps in and they hear that bass voice, suddenly they can hear it. They can't hear the mother's high-pitched shrieks and shouts. But as soon as that booming voice comes in, there is something in the brain that is hardwired to listen. The child needs both. They need to hear the masculine and they need to hear the feminine principle. So what has happened over decades is that you have imbalanced children going out into the world and being imbalanced. And so when it comes to relationship time, the imbalance sets in. And so now we have such a skew that we have a situation where women are actually saying, my mom was a single mom. She didn't need no man. I'm going to do it too. I don't need no man. They have a child, but they realize they can't put up with a man, so they rather do things on their own. But what is happening is that we really do have a chronic situation of loneliness in people's lives. People need to have people around them. People need to have the warmth, the security, and just another person to bounce ideas off of, to reinforce a situation, right? Now what's happening is that lots of good men are also not getting good women because this artificial singleness, independence is driving women to create a set of criteria for what a good man is. Just the other day, a young woman came and we were chatting, and she's like, I can't find a good man. And I said to her, what is a good man? And she said, good job, he has a house, nice car, he dresses well, and he has taste, and he treats me well. He sends me on holidays, buys me nice gifts. And I said to her, maybe the reason why you're not getting a good man is because your priority list is skewed in the way that society has projected for the definition of a good man to be. How about a man that is ambitious, driven, caring, considerate, emotionally intelligent, available, emotionally available, considerate, loving, and capable of rearing a child in partnership with you? How about that as a definition? And she looked at me in shock like, wow, I never even thought of that. I said, yes, you didn't think of it because society is promoting this other thing. I don't know if most of you are familiar with this new reality show where there's this balloon and people start popping the balloon as soon as the man or the woman comes out. And we've seen quite a number of them where the women just popped the balloon before the man even opened his mouth. And when you ask them, why did you pop the balloon? Oh, I didn't like how he dressed. And so what's happening with this toxic independence is that we have a very superficial perspective being projected. You know, women just want a man that's tall, dark, handsome, well-dressed, has a great car, a huge house, a six-figure income. And then when they do get into relationships with those perfect men, those men are emotionally and mentally unavailable because they are consumed with maintaining the six-figure income, the beautiful house, the beautiful car. And some of them sell their souls to keep those things. So what you are in a relationship with is a soulless man or woman. So we really have to rethink what we consider a good relationship or a good man or a good woman. Because right now, everything is distorted. And the only way that we can not fall prey to the distortion is to open our eyes and use our intuition. Because we are not meant to be single. We are not meant to be alone. We're not meant to be independent. We are meant to interact and integrate with other like-minded persons. So let's just be careful and not blindly follow the current narrative.